We're live. I think we're live. Hello, ladies. So I am back again with another wonderful client of mine, brilliant Beth Hocking, who is a career leadership coach. I'm going to keep it simple for everybody. But Beth and I have been working together for a little while. And as with all of these little interviews that I'm doing, I think it's so valuable. And I have no idea what Beth's about to say, by the way. We haven't kind of pre-planned anything. I haven't told her what any questions or anything that I'm going to ask her. So I think it's really valuable to hear what it's like working with me, the results that are possible, and also the nervousness bits that kind of come up when you're investing, because we all know, and I know this too when I'm investing, is that you want to feel that fire a bit as well. So thank you, Beth, for joining me.
Pleasure.
And you are joining me from the beautiful island of Bermuda at the moment, right?
I am living the dream, although you have more sunshine than I do right now. So sadly, I won't be hitting the beach after
this. So yeah, I'd just love for you to kind of share your experience a little bit, really, of what it's like being in my space, the results that we've been able to create, because we've had some massive wins. I suppose probably the most notable of bringing in 7K within 3 days was just amazing and phenomenal, based on the tools that I was sharing with you and some of the stuff that the frameworks that I was teaching. So yeah, just kind of leaning into that a little bit really would be fabulous.
Yeah, I love working with you, Sarah. And when I think about what I want to say when I talk about working with you, do you know what? My face just lights up. Like, I literally love being in your space. And I think when I was thinking about what I wanted to say, like, there's such a reassurance piece for me, which is what I've come to kind of like just know and love about you. I just feel like whatever question I've got that I'm like getting stuck with, or I'm having a bad day, or like there's something that I'm not quite sure how I should navigate, or I'm having a difficult client, or what was the other one? Oh, I made a boob yesterday, and you were like, actually you didn't at all, and these are perfectly natural things that you did, and I've done the same. And I think there's just that kind of reassurance piece that comes with working with you. It's like you've got that wealth of experience of being a coach for so long. You've got that marketing background, and for me, you've got that corporate background. I'm a corporate leadership coach, so for me, there were so many synergies that just made it a bit of a no-brainer to work with you. And I know that we worked a little bit together one-to-one before I joined the mastermind, and I was really blown away with like the knowledge that you have in terms of messaging, because I think a lot of people have really good programs. A lot of people are brilliant coaches. And it's just sometimes all it needs is that tweak of messaging to get people to understand what it is that you're about, what results that you can get. And I think for me, that has been the difference maker of working with you, was that I was trying to do it alone, and believing in myself and knowing I had great ability and great potential, but it was a question of how do I get people to understand, what they're investing in, and what are the tangibles that they'll, receive when they work with me, and what are the results that they can expect. And I think there's so much a piece about that messaging and marketing that I call you a genius. I can't remember the exact phrase that I use. I'm sure you'll dig it out. But you're a genius at breaking things down and finding that, like, just the hook and the messaging that kind of unlocked everything for me. So I am eternally grateful. Thank you.
Oh, I love it. It's funny, actually. I've had a few descriptors about my message calls that I've been having of like, marketing wizardry and magic. And I'm like, oh, I quite like these terms. I might coin them.
Definitely do it. All yours.
But it is the game changer, isn't it? Like, you can have the best program, be the best coach, but actually if you can't talk to your audience and you can't make sales, and they're the lifeblood of our business. And I think that's the real shift for so many people. Because I know one of the other things, and actually we had one of our mastermind calls, I've lost track of days, yesterday it was, wasn't it? And it was really interesting because some people didn't have any questions, but I think what's brilliant about it and having that support from other people is that you learn so much from other people's questions as well. That community is really valid. And I know that's something that you have kind of mentioned a few times that you've enjoyed.
I love community. In fact, I was just on a call with a client before this one, and we were talking about values. And, community and connection are one of my highest values. So I knew that I needed a container that would hold me in that space with an amazing community. And I think it's that phrase, is if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about your container, is that there's people in all different phases of their business. And you can learn from everybody, and everyone's got different skill sets. They've got, there's no competition. We're all working on completely different businesses, but we don't have to do that alone. And that's what I really love about our community, is that I know that I can help some people, right, who are joining the community now. And I know that I'm learning from some people who have been in the community a lot longer, and from you. So I love that there's that kind of, what do you know this about LinkedIn, or can you help me with that, or what's your email sequence, or what worked for you when you did this kind of process, and how can I apply that to my business? And I think there's just a lot of sharing and a lot of learning and a lot of love in that community. And not only that, I just wanted to touch on, but collaborative opportunities. So I know, I've been live with a couple of the ladies. We've been talking about how we can kind of work together as well in the future, and not naturally kind of thinking, oh, let's put these people together. But actually, when you start like diving in and understanding, what people stand for or who people's audiences are, there is a lot of crossover, or there can be. And I think that also can be a lot of benefits as well.
It's being open, I think, isn't it? To have those, just being open-minded to see the potential for opportunities, the collaborations, and the questioning. I think, like, we're all learning, as you say, we're all on that journey in different spaces. Yeah. I want to talk about your results as well, because I think that's really valuable for people. We talked about the kind of the 7K in 3 days, which is brilliant. But the other thing that I think we've kind of moved into is that, you've been at capacity 1-to-1, and then it was like, how do we create a consistent revenue stream that isn't that doesn't, I suppose, not necessarily moving away from 1-to-1, but actually how do we extend that journey with people, or where are people on that customer journey to create something that they need as well?
Yeah, and I think that for me is the other reason I wanted to work with you. Like, everyone can do 1-to-1, and that's brilliant. But what happens when you want to stop changing time for money, right? Because, 1-to-1's obviously going to be your highest ticket. That's going to be your best bet. And especially if you're like starting off, that's going to be your solid bread and butter. But where do you go from there? And that's why I really wanted some support with that. It's like, okay, Sarah, what have you done in the past? What's worked? What didn't work? What's working now? And that's the other thing, working with you. You always kind of come up with our trends, right? So you do regular trend analysis. You look at the market. You understand what's going on. And I know that's your marketing hangover, if you like. Yeah. But I love it. Like, we're looking at macro trends, right? In terms of the coaching space. What's working now? Is it memberships, right? Is it, single cohorts? Is it evergreen? Those kind of things. It's like, okay, what is working now, and what makes the most sense for me? And it's not just about what's working. It's like, what makes sense for me in my own business, and what would I like to pour into a kind of container, rather than, okay, it's membership time, let's go. I've got an aversion to Facebook groups, for example. Yeah. So if you were to tell me Facebook groups is the only way to go, then I think I'd be feeling a little bit rubbish, and I would be like having a lot of resistance, and I wouldn't love what I was creating. Whereas what you enable us to do is just like lean into what is feeling good for us in the moment, and what suits our lifestyle and our identity and our personality and what we want to create. And I think one of your catchphrases, what's the most fun, simplest way of doing this? And I love that you're not prescriptive about it. It's like, okay, what works for you? How can we extend that customer journey? What feels right to you and your audience, right? And, testing what our clients are looking for in the moment, and not just going with, the same thing or emulating what you have. It's like, okay, what's right for us and our clients, because they're invariably different. So I really love that. I have an amazing group program, which I absolutely love, and it lights me up and gives me so much joy. My clients are creating the most phenomenal results out of it, and I just am like so stoked that I just stuck with it. And maybe I can even say, just to be completely transparent, I had tried to launch it and it didn't quite land, and just a few tweaks and just a bit of help from you was all it took to completely turn that around. And I don't think there's any shame in having, I don't even want to call it a failure, like the learning opportunities that you're disappointed at, but then you recognize why it wasn't working, or why it wasn't right for that moment in that time. And I think a lot of coaches would have been disheartened by that and kind of maybe given up, or, oh, it wasn't right, I told you so, I'll go and try something else. But actually, there's so many amazing success stories of people who, launched to 0 or launched to 1 person who then, went back, tweaked again, tried again, tweaked again, tried again. And I think that's where it is. It's like, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. We all know that. But it's having that sounding board, having that community, having that space that's safe, that you feel like held and you feel supported, that even if you have these kind of slight disappointing moments, actually they were there for a reason. They were there for the learning, and you always get to go again, and you always feel supported. So that is what I loved about our journey together.
Oh, thank you. And that's, it's one of my favorite places to hang out. And, we've both been in programs where with quite sort of well-known coaches who are just not present at all. And you'll put a question in and they're just never there to be seen. And one of the things that I'm really, I suppose, I don't know what the word is, almost like I'm really happy about it, but I love the fact that we've created not just a community, but actually a container where you get a lot of time from me, but also because of that, you guys give a lot to the community as well. And that's really valuable, because that's when we all move forward, and then we can kind of have those questions. And as you said, like, I will test stuff, and I tested something really quite recently and it completely bombed, but you kind of get access as to why that's happened, and I'll test it so that I have that knowledge so that you can not do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to do that and kind of test it. But I think it's really important, as we all learn, that we can test stuff, we can try it, but we don't just let that stop us. It's like, okay, what did we learn from it, which bits did work, and then let's kind of optimize that going forward. But yeah, I think it is one of those things, isn't it, where people kind of sign up to something and are like, I never see that person, where have they gone? Which is not necessarily a great space to be, because for me, that's where you get the best results. It's where you get the most learning, and having that sort of community to ask questions, but have those questions answered as well. Anything else that you'd kind of like to share, I guess, about maybe the results that you created, or just what it's like working with me? I'm kind of opening my book here.
Well, do you know what? I actually do. There's 2 things on my mind. One is that you're doing it with us. Right, what you walk the walk, right? You don't just talk the talk, you actually walk the walk. Like, you literally are not telling us and sharing with us just to do something for the sake of it. You're actually doing it yourself, right? We see you doing the work, putting the effort in, like, as you said, testing things and coming back to us to share your learnings. I don't know of anyone else who's been doing that, right? I think that is integrity beyond words. Right. And you're doing I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but we're doing a bit of a sales challenge at the moment, and you're literally here doing it with us, right? You're going through the motions with us. You've either done it really recently and tested it and shared what worked and what didn't work, or you're like, brilliant, let's all do this together. And that's like, I feel like you are not like just telling us what to do, you're actually figuring it out as we all go along as well. And that for me is just so valuable. And I see what you're doing, as well, and it's so transparent. It's not like you're doing one, telling us to do one thing and you're doing something else. You're literally in that full transparency mode, which is what I really appreciate. And I get to have a lot of time with you, which is amazing, right? So you're very generous with all your time and your energies, and like spending time in our community. You sometimes just pop up with, hey, I saw this cool thing on Instagram and I wanted to share it with you, right? In a video. You might just jump on a live training. You might just, reach out. Like, I just feel like you're ever present, and I do not know how you do that, quite frankly. But I just, like, there is something so magical. Like, when I put something into the group and I'm like, don't rush. But you're like, oh no, I've experienced that, and here's my learnings, or here's what I would, here's my suggestions, or here's some marketing genius, or whatever it is that I need some support with. Like, you're ever present. The Q&A calls are just, I never want to miss one. Even if I'm away, I'm always trying to be on all of the calls. The guest experts that you have lined up are phenomenal, and if there's something that you aren't an expert in, you'll find someone who is. So for me, there's just so much learning. There's so much value in it. I went off on a tangent. There was 3 and not 2. The third one is that I've been in your community since November, and I still, like, the time has just flown. In some ways, I feel like a newbie still, because I feel like it's just been weeks since I joined. And in some ways, I feel like, you know, it's like, oh, like I do know what I'm doing, and I can support some other people because, oh, I've had some learnings here, or, you know, here's my experience and I feel like I can share. So I don't know where the time's gone, quite frankly, because, you know, it just feels like yesterday that, you know, signing up. But I have absolutely loved every single second. And yeah, I just wanted to say the time has absolutely flown. So for anyone who's thinking about joining, we're an amazing group of people. Come hang out with us.
And the results, I love seeing everyone's wins every week as well. The results are amazing. I think it's really interesting, isn't it? Because, you know, my mastermind, it's a 12-month container. And as you say, that time goes really quickly. But people are always like, oh, that feels quite a long amount of time to invest in something. But actually, because you're growing a sustainable business, there's always something else to kind of build and scale and test and learn and grow, that it's not a kind of launch and leave, or like have that high month and then a peak. Like that for me is not what I teach at all. And as you say, there is not, I don't think there's a single person, including myself, that has the same business model, that has the same product suite. It just, that's not how I work. I don't think there is a cookie cutter approach to business. And I love the fact that I can bring in my corporate, my product, my service business, the mix of the two, and just really support anyone wherever they're at within their journey. It's so valuable.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I think, you know, I've been in 6-month containers before, and they go so quickly. It's almost like you blink and then it's done. And it's like, oh, it's almost more challenging to think, oh, do I reinvest after 6 months? Whereas you're like, oh, I can relax a bit with 12. Like, yeah. You know, you've also got an incredible suite of back, what's it called in the music industry? Back catalogue. There you go. Thank you. This back catalogue, where I also try and maximize, you know, lots of time and effort, right? So it's like, oh my gosh, we've got the live stuff, which I absolutely prioritize. And then, you know, if I need to learn anything that's already been done, I'm like typing furiously and trying to find out, you know, what else I can learn. So there is so much to do. And I think in that 12 months, you just get to breathe a little bit rather than overwhelm yourself with, you know, trying to fit in all the things and learn all the things. And then you've got no time to implement it.
Yeah. And it's really important for me that we almost hit that income target quite quickly, or as quickly as we can do based on where you're at within your business journey. And then it's about the growth. And that's where the real magic happens, is because the mindset changes, doesn't it? It's just like, okay, I've invested, but now I can really grow. I can breathe. I can relax. I can actually start building this and month on month and kind of lean into it as well. So yeah. Amazing. Oh, thank you so much for sharing your experience of working with me and obviously being in the mastermind. And as you said, we did a little bit of one-to-one stuff beforehand too. So it's, yeah, I mean, I love working with you. I love seeing the results that you're getting, and just even the shift in like your confidence has just been phenomenal as we've started building, and you've just got so much more clarity and results as well. So yeah, you're an absolute treasure to work with. Love it.
Likewise. Thank you.
Any questions, as I say, like I'm a completely open, transparent book. If anyone's got any questions for me, or they want to reach out to Beth and find out what it is like working with me that she doesn't want to share online, then I'm more than happy for that one too. You know, it's what a lot of coaches don't do, because they want to kind of keep their clients hidden away and not sort of share who or what is going on. But for me, it's really important that you actually hear what it is really like and the results that are possible. So I really appreciate you, Beth, and thank you for today as well.
Such a pleasure.
Thank you so much, ladies. If you've got any questions, do give me a shout about anything about working with me or just being in any space. Do let me know, and I will see you very soon.